We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. I'm Stephen Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWit, and this is the Land Academy Show.
This is episode number 2138. Today, Jill and I are talking about making land investment decisions based on data versus feelings.
This week is all about feelings and opinions. Just kidding.
And land research.
Oh, and that.
This is going to get a little fluffy, which I like.
This is good. Well, we kind of talked about this a little bit yesterday when we talked about fishing for new counties. And at the end of the day, you might start with a feeling, but it ends with data. You need to make sure you're making smart decisions. What's so funny?
Starts with a feeling and it
ends with data. It starts with a feeling.
Ends with.
It doesn't end with pregnancy.
Drudgery and regret.
Starts with a feeling. It ends up with a minivan.
That's worse. With the license plate on the back that says regret.
Oh my God. Do you ever see somebody put a photo on Facebook and it showed, people put the little like meme cartoon characters like a mom and a dad stick figure and the little kids and the dog. But it was like mom, dad, kid, dog. And then someone wrote in the dirt on it, like, get off her. So it was really good.
Get off the babysitter?
No, get off the mom.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So I understand.
Why do you call her the babysitter?
I don't call the mom the babysitter. It's from a movie. It's okay.
Oh, okay. I missed that one.
Each day on the show, we answer a question from our Land Academy member Discord forum, and we take a deep dive into land-related topics by your request.
As you can tell, Jack and I do different things with our spare time. One of us is quite the movie buff.
That's from the 80s, man.
Oh, whatever that is. All right. So Amy and Chuck wrote, "Hello, Land Academy. My name is Amy and my husband Chuck and I are new members of Land Academy. We live in Arizona and are thrilled to be part of this amazing group. With backgrounds in real estate and construction, we've always enjoyed buying and selling land, and we're excited to take our business to the next level. We're here to be coachable, learn and collaborate with the Land Academy community and build a profitable business. We're truly grateful for this opportunity and looking forward to connecting and growing alongside fellow members. Looking forward to meeting all of you. With gratitude, Amy and Chuck."
This was
That's
responded
sweet.
to by 40 people, I bet.
I
in
bet.
Discord.
Like, yay, welcome.
I put this in here just so people who are not in Land Academy get a feel for
Who's here?
your potential camaraderie.
Your
not
peers.
to sell anything, but it's just a good group.
Yeah.
It's not like a regular social media group with a bunch of haters and all that.
No, we're pretty focused. And a lot of this is a good point to make. There's a lot of people that come into Land Academy that know nothing about this. And there's another large group of people that are really into it. I'm going to say almost more people come into Land Academy that are very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And they're here because they just want to make this an empire.
The responses to this, some examples are fantastic. We're in New Mexico and we've been real estate agents for 22 years. We bought and sold a bunch of property and we want to do that full time now. So it's just a good group of people for the most part. There's always tiny little exceptions, but geez, I never thought that when we started this. I just never thought we would meet so many successful people, at different stages of success.
I did not expect the community
me too.
Aspect of this. And I'm grateful. You think that you're grateful having the Land Academy community. I'm grateful having you too. It goes both ways.
Jill and I don't need to do this. For years, we have not needed to financially have this group. And
we love it.
Yeah, we're here because we want to be here. Mm-hmm. Today's topic, making land investment decisions based on data versus feelings. This is our 10th year doing the show. And I have to say, we've probably done this topic, different versions of this topic, maybe 15 times. Yeah. So the root, I'm sure Jill has a bunch of stuff to say. The very root of Land Academy started by me physically removing a dartboard from our community office and throwing it in the trash and saying, you know what? We no longer have to make decisions about what we think is going to happen. and throw a dart at this board. We can now utilize data to make these decisions for us. And we went through, when I started this, we were pulled atlases off the wall to try to find property. It was way before Google Earth or any other tool on the internet. And so we've done the full spectrum of it's so cheap, we'll buy it. I don't care where it is. We used to do that all the time.
Yep.
We didn't even go through the motions of trying to find it, all the way to Parcel Fact, which Jill and I developed a few years ago, that gives us the exact amount of data that we can make a preliminary decision on whether or not we want to buy it. Like where it is, who owns it, how big it is, what are the taxes, all these things that we need to assess it to look at it. So the whole point to this is to not have to wonder what's going to happen after you buy a piece of property. You are so informed, data-based, data-driven. You have all the facts, or 95% of the facts about a piece of property, including the price. You know what's going to happen on the south side of the deal. What a luxury. I don't know who else can say that in their business. I wonder what's going to happen next month.
I know.
I wonder if anyone's going to walk through my convenience store door. I wonder if my hotel is going to be empty or full next month.
That's funny you say about the convenience store door. I was talking about that with people and sending out mail. This is a little side note, because I said, look, the last thing you want to do is not send a lot of mail. It's like limiting your customers. Like, we're opening a new convenience store. I have a new 7-Eleven store, and I'm still figuring out how to work the computer and inventory and all of this stuff. So, like at 5 p.m., you're like, I'm overwhelmed. I have to just close the doors. No, you don't do that. You just let them come on in and you wing it, and you're staring at a pile of cash going, I guess I'm going to figure it out now. That's what you should do with your mail too, by the way. So a little side note, you made me think of that. I wanted to share that concept with you. But making these decisions based on data, to me too, comes down to profit. Not only where it's everything. It really is everything. It's, how much money am I going to make this year? You know what? I'm here to tell you, sometimes there's this thing is too much money. Because if you got too much cash coming in, guess what? It changes a lot of your tax things and how you're placing money and what you can do with it. You have to time this stuff. So every decision that we make, it may seem like it's feelings because I'm involved, but it's not. It's data driven because Jack's involved, and thank goodness it is.
I mean, what's the first thing you think of when I say that sentence? Making decisions, any decisions, based on data versus feelings. Like, I'm asking you, but I want, if you're listening to this, well, you're obviously listening to this. What's the first thing that you think of?
Using past historical data to tell me what to buy and where to buy it.
The first thing that I think of is, who the hell would make a decision that's not based on data?
Or that.
I mean, what decision am I supposed to make? What do I want for dinner tonight? I don't make a decision based on what I want to eat and what it's going to taste like. I make a decision based on, what's the outcome of that?
Well, that's where we differ, sir.
I mean, seriously.
No, I want steak tonight.
I like the red car, not the blue one. I'm not going to look at that. I'm going to look at which one deflects light and why. And it's hot in summertime here, and it's always data driven. Every decision I make, everyone.
I have to admit, we do that. We do. And you've got me. I didn't go into it I knew what colors I liked in cars. Let's hang with this for just a moment. But now I go into things looking at resale value.
Yes.
I can handle driving around the yellow Ferrari, but I'm pretty sure the yellow Ferrari is not going to sell as well as the red one.
You would be the only
resale.
one.
Or the navy blue. Trust me, I love blue. I've seen these beautiful blue Ferraris with the Palomino interior. Just saying. But I know resale value, it's not going to sell as well as the red one with the black interior.
The result of this,
or red with Palomino,
is that we have a ton of people in our group who come from STEM related businesses, lots of engineers, lots of airline pilots, retired and otherwise, a lot of people in
medical,
former real estate careers that are tired of it, tired of the social aspect, and just want to get down to, does the dirt make sense? Does the deal make sense? And can I resell it? Real simple stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's what investment decisions that are based on data versus feelings are.
Yeah. It's nice when you do, because the data really tells you what to do. When you're making a decision based on feelings, you don't know till the very end if it worked or not.
So I think that the older you are, the more of a chance there is that there's a chance that you remember a time where you just had no data to make a decision. It's frustrating as hell for personality types like ours.
Yeah.
Back then, it was very frustrating for me to that's why there were things back then called apprenticeships. They still go on in a lot of industries still, but because the only way you could learn anything is hanging out with somebody who had 30 years of experience. Now you can pull a device out of your pocket and find out the answer to just about anything in the entire world.
True.
And so there's no reason this day and age with our technology that you should be making decisions based on feelings unless that's who you are. And if you are a person that makes decisions based on feelings, there's probably a better career for you.
What can end on this for me? I don't know what that is.
I do.
Wait,
I
therapist.
Do. No, that or there's a ton of careers. I'm not knocking anybody. This is just a STEM career. The entire medical profession is made up of emotions. So, and that's fine.
But there's data
It needs to be that way.
Right?
I think being a teacher.
Your blood results with the data tells whether we need to do X or Y. Put you on that vitamin.
You're right. The actual delivery of care is very feeling driven, that's how it should be. The actual delivery of education in primary school, there's way more emotion in that than I think in actual data delivery. And that's how it should be. I'm not being negative.
I'm giving you my opinion right now. I feel we should cut this show. I think this is a good ending.
Oh, really?
A good time to ending. That's my opinion and my feeling.
Happy Friday, everybody.
Yeah.
Join us next week for 5 more interesting episodes. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
We are Jack and Jill.
Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.
We hope you found our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.